Hello, welcome to the 30K channel. I'm your host, David, and I have a special guest in the studio today. I have Tom. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, how are you?
Great. Good to see you. Second time? Third time?
Actually, third time, yeah. So really lucky.
That's really good. Now, for those that haven't seen Tom before, you have an amazing word bearers army.
Yeah, thank you very much. I got 3K all built around no fear, and yeah, that's why you also have the militia now.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about this new army.
So in No Fear, you have that scene where the word bearer attacks with a lot of militia, and I wanted to replicate that. So that's the spirit. So it's tented flesh, it's hordes moving forward, screaming, and that's the ethos of it. And also some little fun things that you don't necessarily see most of the time, like artillery carriage, and also the Bane hammer. Because that's a fun one, especially with a tremor cannon. You rarely see it. It's a special roll. You roll 4d6 from the impact, and then that gives you the radius of difficult terrain.
Yeah.
And everybody that tries to run or move has to take a check.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one. That now the rules for the Bane Hammer, it's a 40k kind of rule set, but it has like 3 structure points, which translates to 9 hull points. So there is a reference somewhere in the myriad of rule books to get the exact rules for that. But we worked it out and we're quite happy. We're okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting game. This one, there is a ton of infantry models, and you've got it supported by a load of big pie plate artillery, right?
Yeah, we're trying to just be scary all around, right? And when I talk to David, David has the challenger channel.
Yeah.
Well, I decided that let's try to challenge David.
It is a formidable list, and I'm not going to lie, I am extremely scared. And the army that I've borrowed from Dan Porter, Imperial Fists, it had a ton of infantry with heavy weapons and stuff, but I figured go vehicle heavy because the artillery will chew out the infantry really early on. So the vehicles have got a chance of surviving a little bit longer. Plus, I've mixed in some mechanicum in there just for a bit of variation for the vehicle. So it's going to be a really interesting game. Tom, the mission we're playing, though, is from Book 9. We're playing the last Bastion, as represented by the lovely green Bastion in the middle of the board. The object is, you score points every turn if you control it. You can't purposely destroy it.
No, unless it's the last turn.
Unless it's the last turn, yeah. So if you destroy it prior to the last turn, you lose points. But if you do it on the last turn...
And you don't control it, you can win the points.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it exciting, because we're going to fight for the control of that bastion.
Yeah.
But at the end, if you don't have it, you're just like, well, screw it. If I cannot have it, you should...
The enemy can't have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's quite fun.
It is a really good mission. We've got Slay the Warlord in there as well, just for a bit of extra spice. So, I think it's going to be very tough. Chewing through all those infantry and then the heavy weapons as well, and the artillery carriage and the tanks. Tough. What about you? What are you looking forward for the Imperial Fist Mechanicum?
Well, looking at the list, it's like you said, you have a lot of vehicle, and that's a little bit scary, because I do have certain things to open them up, but... If you get through those, then my infantry cannot do anything. We worked it out. I cannot glance. So it's really going to be, I think it's going to be who's going to be able to destroy what from what and keep us on our toes. And also just want to point out one thing. Morale is a thing with militia. It's not like when you ally them with sword bearers and things like that. Is here they have poor leadership and they fail. So that's something that is quite scary that can play in the game.
And just a quick talk about your super heavy. You've loaded that up. You've got 2 troop selections in that super heavy. Is that right?
We have the Argreen and the Force Commander in there, as well as the Engineers in there.
Yeah. So that vehicle is jam packed full of stuff. So that's quite a formidable unit in there as well. If you look at the Imperial Fist Mechanicum side, we've got 12 Thalax, 2 units to 6, and then we've got 2 10-man tactical squads with sergeants with power swords in the Rhinos, and that is it. You might think that's not enough infantry, and I think you're probably right, but anymore. I think it would have been a waste of time. So it's all going to be about getting to that bastion early and holding it. And I don't know. I think one person will get there and score a point maybe in the first or second, or maybe in the second or third turn. But I think because it will be so hotly contested, nobody's going to score it for the rest of the game.
I think so. It's going to be, just getting there, got to withstand the barrage of fire.
Yeah.
And once you're in there, then, you have some palace as well. It's just like, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be cool.
But fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, and you can occupy the building. The building has 7 whole points, and it has an occupancy of 30 as well. So once you get there, you can sit in it and fire out. I'm sure it has fire ports, so that'll be interesting. If we have a quick look over the board, deployment-wise, for the Imperial Fists and Mechanicum, everything is on the board apart from the jet bikes, and they're kind of using the terrain to as best as possible. The flare shields on the Mechanicum will be put to good work. And Tom, tell us a little bit about your deployment for your militia.
Well, it's very simple. Everything is at the front because we're going to try to get to you as quickly as possible. Otherwise, we get shut off the board. So let's give it a try.
Yeah, so at the moment, Thomas is going first. He won the roll-off. He deployed first, and he's going first. But the Mechanicum or the Imperial Fist will try to seize. And thanks to the Warlord trait, we do get a reroll. So if I'm perfectly honest, we really need this to try and blunt the firepower of the militia in the first turn. So good luck to you.
Good luck, my friend.
Thank you, and we'll have a roll. I appreciate you can't see this, but hopefully my or Thomas's face will tell the story.
Come on.
Oh, it's a 5. One more better, we'll be all right.
Oh, no! Well done.
Yes! All right, we'll go to Imperial Fist Mechanicum. Tell Mob.
The army is led by a force commander. He is equipped with a power weapon, which is a power axe, a iron hello, melta bombs, a cyber familiar. He has bought the upgrade Planetary Overload, which allows it to pick its Wallow trait, and the provenance are Apumen Helots and Tinted Flesh. He is accompanied by a Rogue Alpha Psyker with a Tainted Weapon, and he is Mastery level 2, and he has access to Psychic Maelstrom, Levitation, and the Primaris is Assails. The third HQ is a Rogue Psyker. He's equipped with a close combat weapon, and he is a level 1 Psyker. His power are picked from the Biomancy Psychic powers, and his Primaris is Smite, and he rolled Enfeeble. First troop choice is a 20-man Levy Auxiliary Squad with additional close combat weapons. The Custodian have no additional upgrades. Second troop choice is a identical 20 Levy Auxiliary Squad with additional close combat weapons. The Custodian has no particular upgrades. Third troop choice is a 40-man Levy Auxiliary Squads. They have additional close combat weapon. There's a Vexilla, and the Custodian doesn't have any particular upgrade. Fourth and fifth troop choice are 2 identical 5 militia fire teams with las cannons. Sixth and final troop choice for the militia is a 5 militia fire team with autocannons. First elite choice is a squad of 8 Ogryn's Brutes equipped with carapace armor and 8 power axes. Second elite choice is a Engineer Auxilia composed of 2 Engineer Adepts and 6 Servo Automata. The Engineer Adepts are equipped with a Last Pistol, Power Axe, Servo Arm, Power Armor. One has an Oxiovox and the other one has an Augury Scanner. The Servo Automata have 3 servo arms and 3 has phased plasma fusils. First heavy support choice is a mixed Militia Auxiliary Battle Tank Attack Squadron composed of 3 Lamanros Demolishers. Each of them are equipped with turret-mounted Demolisher siege cannon, hull-mounted heavy bolters, searchlight, smoke launchers, and extra armor. Second heavy support choice is a Auxilia Heavy Ordnance Batteries composed of 3 Earthshaker cannons. Each carriage has a 4-man screw. The third heavy support choice is a 10 Mutant Spawn Squad. We roll on the Mutated Beyond Reason chart, and we got Grasping Claws plus Failing Pseudopods. which allows them to reroll rolls of 1 for their random attack. Lord of War choice is a Ben Hammer super heavy tank. It has for upgrade a super heavy command tank, a hull-mounted tremor cannon, a hull-mounted twin-linked heavy bolter, searchlights, smoke launcher, armor ceramite, and 1 pair of side sponson with las cannons and heavy bolters.
Leading the Imperial Fists and the Mechanicum is a Praetor. He's equipped with a plasma pistol, artificer armor, paragon blade, which is mastercrafted, an iron halo, and digital lasers. The second HQ choice is a Damocles Command Rhino fitted with extra armor. Fast attack includes 6 scimitar jet bikes. The Sergeant has a power fist, and the entire unit is equipped with melter bombs. The first and second troop choices are a 10-man tactical squad, all equipped with extra close combat weapons. The unit includes a Nuncio Vox. The Sergeant is equipped with a power fist and artificer armor. Their dedicated transport is a Rhino. The first heavy support choice is a Predator Strike Squadron. They're all equipped with sponsor-mounted las cannons and a turret-mounted autocannon. They are all equipped with extra armor. The second heavy support choice is a Sicaran battle tank. It is equipped with 2 las cannon sponsons. The third heavy support choice is a Scorpius with extra armor. The fourth heavy support choice, which should not have existed, there should only be 3 heavy support choices in this list. However, the Venator snuck in onto the list and essentially made the army illegal and put it over points. Leading the allied detachment of Mechanicum is an Archmagos Prime. He's been upgraded with the Myrmidax special rule, has a jetpack, 2 melter guns, and a cyber familiar. The first and second troop choices for the Mechanicum are identical. They consist of 6 Thalax. 2 of the Thalax are armed with photon thrusters, and they all carry melter bombs. Their dedicated transport is a Triaris armoured conveyor with blessed auto simulacra and extra armour. It also includes 2 Volkite Sentinels and a twin-linked Mauler bolt cannon. The first and only heavy support choice for the Mechanicum is a squadron of 2 Cryos Venator. They are equipped with extra armour. Imperial Fist turn 1 movement. The entire armoured column has advanced forward, bringing as much as a militia into their sights as possible. The 2 Trios armour conveyors on the right hand side push forward a massive 12 inches, and the rest of the tanks have moved forward 6. There's a slight shuffling here with the Sicaran and the Venator there, just to try and draw a bead on those militia and the super heavy tank. Other than that, the Rhinos here stayed pretty much within the confines of their deployment zone. They don't want to get out too quick, and the Mechanicum vehicles will have no line of sight or target this turn. Imperial Fist turn 1 shooting phase. The 2 Trios armoured conveyors flatted out an additional 6 inches, so they are halfway up the board already, very close to the lines of the militia. The Praetor, who is not attached to any squad and doesn't have his own transport vehicle, has ran forward a huge 6 inches to take refuge behind that crate. The Sicaran Venator has the Bane Hammer quite clearly in its sights. There is a cover save of 4+, because it is obscured by 50%, but we've got 2 shots coming in from the Venator, requiring 3s. That is 2 good hits. It's strength 10, front armor 14, ordnance, so 2 dice pick the highest, so that is a penetrate, followed by a penetrate, and then we need a 4+ cover save.
So 2-4 coming up.
Oh,
Passed.
Both passed. Next to fire is the Sicaran with its accelerator autocannon into the front of the Bane Hammer. It's a clear shot, and all of the shots hit. We now need 6s to rend through the front armor, of which we get 2. So this is good. So that takes us to front armor 13. So 1 to 2 is a glance, and a 3+ is a pen. So that is good. That is 2 more penetrating hits. There's no AP value to it, and it's a super heavy, so it is down to 2 hull points. Next, we've got 2 las cannons hitting on 3s, which they both hit. Strength 9, 5 to glance, 6 to pen. That is 1 glance and 1 pen. Again, there is no cover save. It does have a chance to blow it up, so it's +1 to each of these rolls. So it's a 5 becomes a 6. And a 5 becomes a 6. So that's 2 more additional hull points, reducing it to 5. Correction, it was 1 glance and 1 pen, but still had the same result. Next to fire is the Imperial Fist Scorpius. It has targeted the front line of Lehman Russes there, targeted right on that track. The first one missed, the second one hit, and then the third one scattered, which then clipped 4 of those militiamen. So first of all, let's do the militiamen first. It is just 2 to kill, which unbelievably rolled a 1, but that's okay. 3 militia are dead. And then we've got 2 hits on the tanks requiring 6s to glance, and we get 1 glancing hit on the Lehman Russ. Next to fire is the Imperial Fist Scorpius. It was stationary and fired 3 barrages up high into the air, or blast markers rather. It hit just in front of the tanks, but with successive flips, it managed to cause a total of 3 hits. So we're now just rolling for damage. It is strength 8 versus 14, and we require 6s. That is 1 6, so 1 whole point dealt onto that middle Lehman Russ. Next fire, the Predators will use their autocannons at the militia right on the far side of the board there. There is 8 shots requiring 3s to hit. That is 3 misses, not too bad. So 4 misses, and then with 2s to wound. And that is 4 wounds total, but feel no pain from the militia.
4 6 up, 1 survives.
Okay, so 3 are dead, that's not too bad. Next, we'll go on to the las cannons. They can all draw a bead. Being a squadron, they can draw through their squad members. So there are 6 las cannons, requiring 6s though, unfortunately. Trying to get these dice ready. Here we go. 6s. That's 2 hits. 2s to wound. No feel, no pain. There's 1 and 2. So 2 more militia fall to the withering firepower from the Predators. Last to fire was the orbital bombardment from the Damocles Command Rhino. It did target the Lehman Russ tanks, but unfortunately, due to a really bad scatter, ended up right in the middle of no man's land there. What a complete waste, but it was definitely worth a try. Final action of Imperial Fist Turn 1 is to do a leadership test on this militia squad that lost 25% casualties.
So 8 below 2 dice, and we got it.
Fantastic news. End of turn 1 for the Imperial Fist and Mechanicum Alliance. Not a bad turn, some good hull points put on that super heavy vehicle, and 1 put on the Lehman Russes there. Really unfortunate for the orbital bombardment to scatter. That's kind of surplus to requirements now, so it might become the Warlord's transport for the rest of the game. Other than that, we shall brace for the incoming artillery from the militia.
Militian turn 1 movement phase. The entire army moved forward as I could in one big wave. We started with the 40 militiamen infantry, followed by the Lehman Russes that are eyeing at potential targets. The things that didn't move are the heavy weapon teams and the artillery carriage. And lastly, the beasts move a full 12 inches, getting closer to the yellow wall. The super heavy, the Bane Hammer, has a target-rich environment thanks to its position and move quite away from the Phalanx and their Melta bombs. Militia turn 1 psychic phase. The rogue Alpha Psyker attempted to cast Levitate. Unfortunately, he failed to do it, and that's the end of the phase. Militia turn 1 shooting phase. We start with runnings. The militia 40-man squad levy inducted run 6 inches. The one closest to the bastion run only a 1 inch, and the other 3, and the beast run a mighty 5. The demolisher tanks aim at the Trias. Because the Trias has flare shield, is -2 from blast weapons. We got 2 hit on the front armor and 1 hit on the side armor. So we need a 6 for the 2 front. Got 1, wonderful. And we need on the side a 2+ because it doesn't apply to the flare shield this time. And we have then 1 penetrating and 1 glancing hit.
Yeah, cool. So the glance will cause a hull point and the damage on the pen chart.
And let's roll to see the pen chart. 3 + 1, which is a 4.
Which is stunned, but due to extra armor, it takes it down to a shaken result.
The last cannon squad is gonna aim at the Predator squadron. Only 3 can see. They need a 4 to hit, 2 hit, and we need 2 for a glance and 3 up for penetrating. So we have 1 penetrating. There are AP1 thanks to the Warlord trait of the Force Commander.
There's a cover save intervening models of a 5 up. So let's have a look at that. That is failed. And damage result is
4 plus 2, 6 immobilized.
Immobilized and a hull point.
The second last cannon squad is targeting the Trias on its side armor. Needs 4 to hit, 2 hits, and now we need strength 9, side armor 12. So we need 3 plus. Oh, 2 penetrating.
Nice.
And you have cover saves, right?
2 5 ups, all the tanks destroyed. Oh, we save 1, so it does go through.
Yes, and let's see what it does. 6 explodes.
It does explode. All right, we're going to work out the damage on the Thalax and we'll come back to you.
The Trias exploded, 3 wounds and followed, but all were saved on the armor. But most importantly, the Warlord is out and exposed. The autocannon squad is aiming at the Sicarian battle tank, hitting on 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4 hit, and glancing on 6s. Nothing. Rolling on the damage chart, 6.
That is an immobilized result.
The 2 engineers embark in the Bane Hammer, start working hard to repair it. They rolled and were able to give it back 2 whole points, bringing it back up to a total of 7. The Earthshaker Cannon took aim at the Warlord for the Mechanicum, and it was a very successful barrage and hit 16 times, 2 wounds, and we have 1 cog die. So we have only 1, 2, 3, 4 fail.
Slight correction, there was 13 wounds in total, and they centered on the Archmagos Prime there. He does thankfully have a 2-up armor save, so we're going to start with him. I'm going to do 3 at a time to try and keep those Thalax scoring units alive. So we take 1 wound already off the bat. Take a second. This isn't going too well, so 1 at a time now. Oh, and he is dead. That is really unfortunate. So now we'll go on to 6 up, feel no pain for the Thalax. So that is 1 Thalax dead. We've got 3 wounds, 4 wounds remaining. And we pass 3 from there. So the Warlord, 1 Thalax, and another has 1 wound left. 2 wounds left.
End of turn 1. The Militia push forward, had some pretty good success, especially getting rid of 1 of the Trios, and the Mechanicum HQ is definitely a plus. We're closer to the Bastion and the enemy line, but we're going to have to brace for the onslaught of fire coming up because we're now in range of everything.
Imperial Fists, turn 2 movement. The Imperial Fists in the Rhinos there, they've disembarked, ready to draw some firepower into those beasts. The 2 Predators have advanced forward, leaving behind their comrade that was immobilized, and they will try and pour as much firepower into that super heavy as possible. The Kryos Venator will add their weight to the firepower there, seeing as those Mechanicum adepts are repairing hull points. The Venator has changed targets and will try and go against the Lehman Russes. And then the Sicarian has moved forward to draw a bead onto the Militia. The Thalax have advanced forward in support by the Imperial Fist Warlord, and they will try and pour some firepower into the Militia. Next, we just have to resolve the ram move from the Trias Armoured Conveyor. So first of all, we'll do the Haywire attack. Anything but, that's good. So that is a glance onto the Lehman Russ there, but also they cause a strength 9 attack on front armor 14. We require a 5 to glance. Oh, so close. Okay, so 1 whole point, not too bad. Imperial Fist, turn 2, shooting. First of all, we're going to start with the 2 Kryos Venators that have got a perfectly lined up shot against the Bane Hammer. They are 4 shots apiece and they require 3s to hit. Okay, that's not too bad. Only 2 dropped. Very pleased with that. Now we are 2 dice and pick the highest. So we're strength 9, ordnance against 14.
Yep.
So we require 5s to glance, 6 to pen. So there's a pen on the first one. Nothing on the second. A pen on the third. Nothing on the fourth. Nothing on the fifth, and the final one, 6. Come on. Okay, that is a glance. So that was 3 pens and a glance. We'll roll for the damage on the pens. They are AP2, so it's +1 to this. So just 2 hull points. Sorry. And we do have an explode, so that does cause an additional D3. So we've got 2 hull points, 3 hull points so far, 2 from the pen, 1 from the glance, then D3 additional for the explode. And that is an additional 1. So 5 hull points in total. Correction, there was 2 pens and a glance. So we're going to roll for damage on the penetrations. So let's have a look. +1 to this roll. And it is an explode. So far we've got 3 hull points. And then an additional now for the D3, which is 1. So that is 4 hull points total. Next, we'll do the Predator that's been abandoned by its squadron there. So he has 2 las cannons onto the front of that Banehammer, requiring 3s. That is 1 hit, and with strength 9, 5 to glance, 6 to pen, and that is nothing. Next, we'll move on to the other 2 members that were part of the squadron. 3 las cannons can draw a bead, 3s to hit, only 1 hit, and we have 5s and 6s. No, and that is nothing either. So that Banehammer has escaped. The Sakaran Venator is opening up onto the front of those Lehman Russ Demolishers. 2 shots requiring 3s to hit. That is a double hit. Strength 9 against armor 14 with ordnance. Same again. 5s to glance, 6 to pen. Nothing on the first. Oh, and nothing on the second. That is unlucky. Next, the Sakaran will fire. There was a bit of a decision to make whether to go into the infantry in front of the Lehman Russ or whether to go into the Lehman Russ themselves. But the Sakaran has opted to get a very risky shot on the side of that super heavy vehicle because it's repairing so efficiently. So we need to try and do our best here. So we've got 6 shots twin linked into the side of that vehicle. All twin linked. Okay, so we dropped 1, not too bad. It is strength 7, side armor 13. We need 6s to glance, which will put us onto a rend, which will be an auto pen. So 6s is required. No, that is not a sausage. All right, so now we've got 1 las cannon on the side sponson. And that is a fail. So not very good out of the Sakaran there. Different tack now. The army is struggling against the armour of the militia, so the Phalanx are going to have a go at the large 20-man militia squad in the front, see if we can do anything to maybe break them, who knows. So first of all, we'll start with the 3 lightning guns we've got in the front of the squad, requiring 3s. That is all hit. Strength 7, shred and rending. They all wound at AP4, so it negates their armour, and they are pushed onto their 6-up, feel no pain save.
So 3 save, 3 feel no pain. 2 save, 1 goes down.
Okay, nice. Next, there's 2 photon thrusters. So we'll do these individually. They get hot. So the first one on the left, both hit. And the second one, thankfully, no gets hot. Strength 6, requiring 2s to wound. That is really good. So again, 4 wounds on their 6-up cover save. Sorry, feel no pain. Oh, wow.
2 survive as well.
Jeez. All right, so only 2 of those militia have been brought down. The Imperial Fists that disembarked from the Rhino there fired all of their bolter shots into the beast as much as possible. Disciplined fire, helping out, causing 14 hits in total, but they only managed 2 wounds. So they're 3 wounds apiece, so 2 wounds off one of the lead beasts. The other 10 tactical marines fired from their top hatch into the beasts and unfortunately only scored 2 hits out of 4 and failed to wound. Finally, the Whirlwind Scorpius, using the Nuncio Vox from the tactical squad that disembarked in the same turn, drew a bead on the centre of that super heavy, but scattered a full 12 inches, and even with the reduction of the ballistic skill, it managed to hit the Bastion 3 times, but only caused 1 hull point loss on the Bastion. So it wasn't deliberate, but 1 hull point was lost, so we'll see where that leaves us at the end of the game. End of Imperial Fists Mechanicum turn 2, a very, very sad turn. Some very unlucky dice rolls, and that armour on that super heavy is proving extremely tough. We had planned on destroying it this turn, and it would have left us in a really good position. The final act of the assault phase here was the thrust move from the Thalax, and they have moved directly behind that Bastion. If that super heavy comes our way, we might be able to charge it with some melter bombs and draw the fire off on our vehicles. But again, we will brace for the barrage of fire from those basilisks.
Militia turn to movement phase. The entire force advance. The beasts move closer to the tactical squad and the predator. The force commander got out of the Bane Hammer with his bodyguards of Ogrind looking at the Thalax. The Bane Hammer slightly shifted back because he had to unload his cargo. The militia men all moved forward, closer to the Bastion. Slight rule check, we discovered that in order to get into a building, all the model need to be within 2 inches of the entrance. So that's why they are hanging out in the front trying to get in. The demolisher tanks moved forward and have a rich choice of targets. Turn 2 psychic phase. The rogue Alpha Psyker took a bead at the Thrios and casted Psychic Maelstrom. Successfully managed to manifest the power, hit, but unfortunately was not able to cause any damage thanks to the flare shield of the vehicle. Militia turned to shooting. The 20-man militiamen decided to run, and they run 4 inches trying to fan out. Thanks to the Battlesmith ability, the 2 Angenseer managed to give back 2 whole points to the Bane Hammer. The Bane Hammer opened up with a tremor cannon on the squad of Tactical Marine. It scattered lightly, but managed to hit 5 of the Marines and the Rhino. It killed a total of 4 Marines and took a whole point off the Rhino for a penetrating hit that also took off the bolter. And we roll on Shockwave, and we got a 9-inch radius. The last cannons are targeting the Cryos Venator, hitting on 4s, miss. Now, the second last cannon is targeting the Predator, hitting on 4, nothing. So the side sponson heavy bolters are shooting at the tactical squad of Imperial Fists, hitting on 4. Twin link, luckily. So 3 hits, pretty good. Now winning on 3s. 2 save, please.
Alright, 3 of arm saves, fail 1, so 1 tactical marine falls to the heavy bolter fire.
The Lehman Russell's Demolisher opened up on the Warlord of the Imperial Fists, shot 3 times with the Demolisher cannon, hit 3 times, and now we're going to roll to wound. 2 pluses. So 2 wounds, it's AP2, so it will go on your invulnerable save.
Yes, we have an Iron Halo, so 2 4-ups to be a heroic leader. Oh, that is a double fail, so that is a Warlord kill to the militia.
The last cannon heavy support squad now open up on the Thrios. They need to hit on 4. Oh wow, fantastic. All hit. And now it needs a 6 because of the flare shield. Nothing. The second last cannon squad open up on the same target. This time it's on the side armor. So 4 to hit. Oh, nothing. Last support squad, which is the autocannon heavy support squad, is opening up on the Sicarian Venator. We have 10 dice hitting on 4s. Oh, pretty shocking roll, only 2, and need 6s to do anything, nothing. The Earthshaker Cannon took aim at the Sicarian Venator, very lucky, hit 3 times. It's going to be with Ordnance on 3s to glance, and anything higher is a penetrating. First one, nothing. Second one is a penetrating. And last one, nothing. So just 1 penetrating hit. Let's see what it does. 4.
So that is a stunned result, but thanks to extra armor, it's down to shaken, so not a bad result.
Militia turned to assault phase. The 40-man Levy squad made a charge into the Thryos and managed to have 87 rolls, which resulted in 57 hit. And out of those hits, we only had 2 hull points thanks to the Rens.
Moving on to the next combat, the Phalanx have the initiative against the Ogre Berserkers there. So there are 10 attacks hitting at initiative 2, requiring 4s to hit. So not too bad. 2, 4, 5, 6 hits, which is pretty respectable. And we are Strength 7, AP 4, which will push the Ogrins onto their Feel No Pain. So we need 3s to wound. Strength 7, Toughness 6. 3s to wound, that's pretty good. That is 4 wounds.
So 4, 6 up. So 3 wounds go onto the Ogrins, finishing 1 and putting another one on 1 wound left. Between the Hammer of Wrath, all the attacks from the Ogrins and the Force Commander, the Phalanx squad was wiped with a total of 22 wounds that were taken out. After winning the combat, the Ogrins and the Force Commander consolidated 6 inches towards the Predator. With Hammer of Wrath, the Mutant Spawn managed to kill one of the Tactical Marines. The Tactical retaliated and inflicted 2 wounds on the Spawns, killing 1 and putting an additional wound on a other model. The Spawn in contact with the Tactical has rolled a random number of attack of 13, managed to hit only 6 times, but inflicted 4 wounds, which, fortunately for the Militia, resulted in 3 Space Marines failing their armor save, leaving the Sergeant alone. The Spawns in contact with the squad of Predator managed to roll a 25 attacks, which 15 were able to hit, and successfully managed to take out the 6 hull points from the squadron. Militia turned to summary. Very good turn, sincerely. Taking out the Warlord, moving the Phalanx, taking some of those Predator out really helped. Now we'll see how the fire will come back from the Imperial Fist.
Imperial Fist Mechanicum turn 3 movement, and those Militia are proving quite stubborn to move, the armour in particular. But some good news here, the jet bikes have deep struck onto the back of the field to try and take out some of this heavy firepower that the Militia are pumping into the Imperial Fists. Can't do very much here about those beasts. Unfortunately, that TAC Marine stayed in combat, but could have done with him dying so we can pour some firepower into them. The next immediate issue we have is these Ogrins. If we don't deal with them, they'll burst forward and start to rip apart the tanks of the Imperial Fist and the Mechanicum. But if we ignore them, they'll come through. But then we've got the artillery and the super heavy, so there's a lot of targets here. We do not have enough guns. So the plan will be to put a concerted effort into destroying the Ogrins to relieve the pressure a little bit. On the side here, the Phalanx have gotten out. We need to start reducing some of these Militia down, but I don't think those Phalanx are going to do very much. But they'll fire some weapons and then maybe thrust backwards. And then the Trias Armor Conveyor will fire the Mauler Bolt Cannon and the 2 Volkite Sentinels into that squad to try and stop their advance. We can't do very much about these 3 tanks, so that's going to be tricky. And then in the next turn for the Militia, they will occupy the bunker, which is bad news. So we need a bit of luck. Let's see if we get it. Imperial Fist Mechanicum, turn 3 shooting, and we're going to kick off with the Sakaran, firing into the Ogrins over there. We'll start off with the Accelerator Autocannon, hitting on 3s, and it is twin length, thankfully. Okay, we do drop 1, so it's not too bad. So 5 hits with Strength 7, Toughness 6. We require 3s. Come on. Okay, that's good news. That's 4 wounds, including a rend, but we go straight on to the Feel No Pain, which is 6+.
Okay, 4, 6 up. 1 saves. So 3 wounds go through, it will kill the first Ogryn.
Good stuff. And then we'll move on to 2 las cannons, again hitting on 3s. Oh, double 2s, fantastic. All right, we'll move on to the Predator in front of them. 2 shots from the autocannon. That is 2 hits, lovely. 3s to wounds again. 1 wound. 6 up, feel no pain. Oh, Jesus. All right, 2 las cannons. Hopefully will fare better. 1 hit, 1 wound. That is a wound. 6 up. Okay, failed. So that is another wound on there. That is good stuff. The Venator is now targeting the squadron of Leomorous battle tanks. Unfortunately, a double 1 result was rolled, so that's not going to go anywhere. Slight change of plan. The Thalax are going to have to try and take out at least one of those demolishers to reduce the firepower coming back in. They might lose out to the charge from the Militia in the following turn, but it's a risk they've got to take. We'll start off with the lightning guns. We require 3s to hit. Not too bad. And now we're 6 with shred and rending, but obviously no shred against the vehicle. But 6s will cause automatic pens. So let's have a look. Lucky 6. Oh, that is nothing, unfortunately. Then we've got the photon thrusters. They're lance, so we are 3s to hit. Good. We need 6s. That is not good. And then we'll start again. 2 more shots. We get it gets hot. 4 up armor save. Passed. And now we need a 6 to cause a hull point, which we fail. So that is not a good start. Next, we'll move on to the Mauler bolt cannon into the Militia. We require 3s, which are twin linked, not required. 2s to wound. That is 3 wounds. It would double them out normally, but they're toughness 4, so they get their feel no pain 6+.
So 3 dice. So 2 die.
Wow, okay, that's good. And then the 2 Volkite Sentinels, 4 shots, can fire independently, but we'll lump them all into the Militia. 3s to hit. This is good. Strength 5. 2s to wound. That is 3 wounds. And I believe they're only AP 5.
So 3 more die.
Okay, good stuff.
So 5 total.
Next to fire was the Whirlwind Scorpius. It fired high into the air and hit the back of the Militia there. It was aiming for the tanks, but unfortunately scattered back, but still managed to clip 15 of those Militia, which was pretty good. And now we just need 2s to kill, so this will really help. Okay, that's not too bad. We've got 1, 2, 3 3 failed to wound, so they will all come off the front rank of that Militia squad. Next to fire is the Kraus Venators. In an ideal world, they will deal with that super heavy. However, because the Ogryns were a bit more resilient than we planned, they have to be target priority. So we have 8 shots into the Ogryns, hitting on 3s. We need a good roll. So we only dropped 2, which is really good. So 6 hits, and then we are 2s to wound, and that will force them onto 6 up. Feel no pain. Great stuff. That is 6 wounds, so we'll see what we got.
Let's see. 6 up. 1 only.
1, okay.
So it takes 1 Ogryn and leaves another one. Actually, no, we'll kill the other one too. So it takes out 2 Ogryns and leaves 1 on 2 wounds.
The twin link bolter on top of the Rhino there will take a shot into the Berserkers. You never know what might happen. 3s to hit. It is twin linked. We'll take that. That is 1 hit, and we need a 6 to wound. It wasn't meant to be, but well worth a try. Last unit to fire is the jet bike squad that deep struck into the back of the field here. They've got 18 bolter shots or heavy bolter shots into the back of those fire teams there. We've rolled it already off camera and we only dropped 1, which was lovely. And now we need to go straight into the rolls to wound. So we are strength 5, toughness 4, a bit tricky with one hand. So 3s to wound, and we drop 1, 2 wounds. That is pretty impressive. All right, here we go. Big roll here. There are 14 wounds with 10 remaining in the squad. 6 ups required.
And not 1, so the squad is wiped.
Wowzers. Okay, I think the Imperial Fist needed that. Imperial Fist turn 3 assault. There is only 1 assault to deal with, and that is the Sergeant in combat with the Beast there. The Sergeant struck out with 2 attacks and managed to put 1 wound onto the Beast. But unfortunately, the sheer weight of attacks managed to pull the Sergeant down, and he consolidated Let's have a little roll. Oh, a mighty 5 inches. At the end of turn 3, the final thing to do was to move the phalanx, their thrust move. They moved 5 inches. All of the leadership tests were passed by the militia, so it would have been nice for this unit to fail and fall back a little bit, but they didn't. As for the Ogrins, they are resilient and they are staying where they are. Next, it's looking pretty dire for the Imperial Fists. You know, we are definitely going to receive a charge from the Ogrins and receive a charge from those beasts. And then obviously we've got the blistering firepower from the artillery, the Lehman Russes, and the Super Heavy.
Militia turn 3 movement. The spawn move forward to look at the Cryos. The Augur of Ogryn, who is a force commander, are moving closer to the armor vehicles. The levy that was at the bottom of the bastion finally breached in and are in there. The Bane Hammer pivoted around and is eyeing at the jet bikes. The other inducted levies are also now looking at the jet bikes, and everything else have pushed forward. The what's left of the militia squad up are moving closer to the phalanx, and the Lehman Russes have pushed forward to bring their guns to bear. Militia turn 3 Psychic. The Rogue Alpha Psyker attempted to manifest Psychic Maelstrom onto the unit of Phalanx. Unfortunately, he was not able to cast. The Bane Hammer opened up the hostility and shot onto the units of jet bike. The shot went wide, but still managed to clip one jet bike, but the armor save was made. The result of the earth shock is 9 inches. The heavy bolters now are targeting the jet bikes. So let's see, we have a total of 9 shots, twin linked.
Needing falls to hit?
Yes. And we have a total of 6 hits. Now we need 40 wounds. And we have 2 wounds, please.
Alright, so we got 2 up armor save, and thankfully they have passed.
Now we're moving on to the last cannons. Still the same target. So on 4s, 2 hits.
Yeah. Jet bikes have declared to jink.
2 up.
Okay.
2 saves, please.
Alright, 4 ups, fail. So 2 of those jet bikes have been destroyed.
The engines here continue to work and repair 2 hull points on the Bane Hammer. The heavy support team with the autocannon are aiming at the jet bikes. They need 4 to hit with 10 shots, which are 4, 5, 6 hit, and 2s to wound, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 wounds.
Alright, 4 wounds, 2 up armor save. The sergeant is first, so I'll just take them all. Who cares? Come on. Yes, they all passed. Great stuff.
The Lehman Russ demolishers then take an aim at the phalanx. Shot 3 times. 1 shot went wild, but the other 2 hit square, killing 4 phalanx and inflicting 1 hull point on the Sicarian battle tank, and immobilizing it in the process. The heavy support squad with the last cannons are aiming at the side of the Sicarian battle tank. 5 shots, needing 4 to hit. Only 1, and now it's a side armor of 12, I believe. So it needs 3 or up, so 1 penetrating. Doing a 4...
There's a 5 up cover save, so we'll take that first, which is passed. Brilliant news.
The Earthshaker cannons are taking aim at the jet bikes, and they were able to inflict 7 hits and 6 wounds. So David is now going to try to save them.
Yep, 2 up armor save for the bikes. Not too bad. We do lose 1, which is the sergeant potentially. So we'll look out Sir him onto a marine. We fail, so the sergeant dies.
Militia turn 3 combat phase. The Levy squad made a successful charge onto the Tharios armor conveyor.
Then the Ogrins made a multi-charge into the Predator and the Sicarian Venator tank. The Spawn made a successful charge into the Cryos Venators. Due to the sheer volume of attack, the Inducted Level Squad managed to remove the last 2 remaining hull point from the conveyor, wrecking it. Next to strike, the Ogrins hit a total of 6 times out of their 10 attacks, and they need a 4+, pardon, to be able to glance. And we have 4 glancing hit.
Okay, so that'll be enough to wreck the Predator.
Yeah. Next, in the multi-charge combat, the other 2 Ogrin in combat with the Predator have a total of 6 attacks. So they hit on 3s. Everything hits. And now, strength 6 versus rear armor of 10, we need 4+. And we have 1, 2, 3. So it wrecks the Predator. The Spawn charge onto the Cryos Venator. Nothing was done on the Hammer of Wrath because they couldn't damage the front armor. However, they were able to have 37's attack, hitting 26 times and resulting in 8 hull points, destroying the unit. Turn 3 summary has been a very, very good turn. We've pushed forward and got rid of quite a few vehicles and thinned down also the jetpack squadron that just arrived. But really the big victory is making it into the Bastion, and we were able to score 1 victory point.
Imperial Fists and Mechanicum, turn 4. The Militia have seized the centre of the battlefield and have captured the Bastion. The Imperial Fists cannot do anything to contest the Bastion, so now it's about a glorious death. The jet bikes will try a suicide mission into the Bane Hammer there to try and cause some damage in combat with their melter bombs. The Sicarian Venator has manoeuvred itself to get a rear armoured shot onto the Super Heavy as well. And the Sicarian here has rotated to try and draw a bead onto those Ogrins. The Tech Marines have got out of their Rhino and will pour some firepower into those beasts, but we won't be able to take them all out, but we'll try and reduce their numbers a little bit. And then finally, the Scorpius is here in the backfield. We might be able to put some wounds onto the Berserkers or maybe the beasts. Other than that, the Thalax failed their leadership test and fled a further 8 inches. Imperial Fist Mechanicum, turn 4 shooting. The Sicarian has slightly changed its target priority and will try against that Lehman Rust. There's a good chance of a side armoured shot. So we've got 6 shots from the accelerated autocannon. Cannon. Twin link, thankfully, as we drop 3. Okay, so we fail 1, so we get 5 hits, which is, 5 hits, which is pretty nice. We need 6s, but 6s will be auto-pen, so let's have a look. Unfortunately, not a sausage, but we do have a las cannon. Let's find out. Oh, that is very, very unlucky. The Scorpius declared its target as the Militia. Unfortunately, the shot scattered ever so slightly, and with a couple of bad scatters, only managed to clip 4 of the Militia, and then they did fall to the sustained fire. So not the best result, but still good to get rid of those Militia. The Imperial Fist Tech Marines fired 19 bolter shots into the beast there with their Discipline fire. Got a really impressive 17 hits, but only 2 wounds, and that was only enough to strip 2 wounds off one of those beasts, as they have 3, so the unit is still intact. They can't charge the next turn because they disembarked, but they're ready to receive. The Sicarian Venator has got a rear armour shot on that Lord of War. They will get a cover save of 4 up, but it's not a bad option. We're going to go with 2 shots, hitting on 3s. That is 1 hit, and with strength 10, and that is rear armour 12.
11. So
11.
Actually glance, yeah.
Okay, so cover save. Ooh.
Yeah.
Slight correction, it is ordnance, so we need to roll another dice. Let's hope for a better result on the other one. Yes, we do. Okay, so there is a penetrate, and it is unsaved, so let's roll on the dice to see what happens on the chart. Okay, it goes to a 4. It's just a hull point. We didn't get an explode result, but not too bad. And that will shut the main gun down. Imperial Fist Mechanicum turn 4, and the Imperial Fists on their jet bikes have made the charge into that super heavy vehicle. They will require 3s to hit with their melter bombs, which is a good start. And then we are 3s to glance, 4s on 2 dice being melter. So that is 1 penetrate, 2 penetrate, and 3 penetrate. So that's a really good start there. Reducing the super heavy to 4 hull points remaining, but let's see if we could roll any 6s. That would be nice.
Oh, wow.
Okay, this is good. We do roll 2 6s, so it's 2 explode results, and that's additional d3. So 3, 4, 5. By my counting, the super heavy is on 1 hull point remaining. Due to some terrible maths, the vehicle has exploded, and we will just go and do that off camera. After the catastrophic explosion was resolved, the jet bikes were hit by the D weapon, but unbelievably escaped with a roll of a 1. The next circle then engulfed the other 2, but they made their armor saves, which was amazing. The units inside the super heavy vehicle took their strength 10 AP2 damage, and only a servo automata was left. So a pretty reasonable result for the Imperial Fists. We could have done with that in turn 2 or turn 3, but it's still a great victory. End of turn 4 for the Imperial Fists and Mechanicum. Not doing particularly well. We're trying to mitigate as much damage as we can take in the next turn, but those Ogrins and those Beasts have made significant inroads into the Imperial Fist line, whilst pushing us back and taking control of the Bastion. So we'll see what we've got in store next.
Militia turn 4 movement. The inducted levies move closer to the jet bike, and in the hope of charging them this turn. The Ogrins move closer to the Sicarian Venator, hoping to take out the remaining hull points. The Beasts spun around and are looking at the tactical squad, and the Lehman Russ are pushing forward, as well as the last inducted levy squad moving toward the Venator. Turn 4 shooting. The fire squad with the last cannon are aiming at the Sicarian battle tank, hoping to hit their side armor. Hitting on 4, very good round of shooting, 4 hits. Now strength 9, side armor of 12. We need 3+, and we have 2 penetrating and 1 glance, but you will have a cover for intervening model.
Yeah, so the glance 5 up, passed, and the 2 pens failed. So it does destroy the vehicle, but let's see what happens.
Will it explode? Yes, we have an explode result.
All right, how far does the explosion go? D6?
Oop.
Oh,
5
all
inches.
right. It might clip some Thalax and Militia. The resulting explosion managed to clip one of the Thalax, requiring a 4-up armor save. Good. And then there was 3 Militia clipped by the explosion.
Which in the 6-up feel no pain, and
Oof.
1 die.
Okay.
The Demolisher Lemonruss took aim at the Scorpius. 1 was out of range, and out of the 2 shots, 1 went wild, but 1 managed to hit the Scorpius. So now it's going to be strength 10 ordnance, so 2 dice, pick the highest. So 4, it will be a penetrating hit on the Scorpius. So now let's roll on the damage table. 6, it's an explode.
Good stuff. All right, so can't do much about that. It won't harm any other models, so that Scorpius is destroyed.
The heavy support team with the autocannons are aiming at the jet bikes. They need 4s to hit with 10 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now they need 2s to wound. And that's 5 wounds. So 2-up round of save, please, David.
Yeah, let's have a look at it. 2-ups. Failed 1, so there's 2 remaining.
Last to shoot are the artillery, aiming at the rhino in the far corner. Manage a wonderful 3 direct hit, which resulted in a wrecked rhino.
striking first in combat between the Imperial Fists and the Beasts. The Marines managed to put 7 wounds onto the Beasts, which was really, really impressive.
It will kill 2 of the Beast and put a 1-on-1. And now we'll roll for the Beast. The Spawn rolled and had a total of 22 attacks, pardon. Of those, 15 hit, and they managed to put 9 wounds on the Marines.
All right, let's do this. We've got 3 up armor saves. Let's see how we get on. That was not too bad. 3 Marines are dead compared to the 7 of the Beasts, so the Marines win the combat.
Yeah. However, the Beasts are fearless, so they are tied in combat for the next turn. In the combat, the Cultists had 57 attacks. Out of those, we had 18 hits, and we had 4 wounds, which were rending, killing the 2 last Marines. The unit then consolidated a 3 inches toward the rest of the Imperial Fist force. Turn 4 overview. I think this is going extremely well for the Militia. We were able to take out most of the threats. The Imperial Fists are tied up at the bottom, and we have the Bastion secured, which is the objective.
Imperial Fist Mechanicum turn 5. At the end of the Militia turn, the points were rolled for securing the Bastion for end of turn 4, and 3 points were scored. So at this stage, it's very late in the evening. The Imperial Fist Mechanicum have 2 Thalax and a Damocles and 1 Rhino left on the board. So, well, apart from the 10 TAC Marines in combat, but they will be charged by the Militia, Brute Ogrins in the next turn. So that is it for the end of the game. It's a bit of an abrupt finish, but we know when we're beat. That is it. We have called the game early. As I mentioned, it's a little bit late and it was a bit futile, the Imperial Fist hammering it out with 10 Marines and then suffering the bombardment from the Militia. But Tom, congratulations. I mean, it was a tough list, but you played it really well.
Thank you very much. But I gotta say, I gotta give it to you. You made me work for it. So, yeah.
I don't know. It ended on turn 4. We did try. I don't know. There were loads and loads of targets, weren't there?
Yeah, I think that's the thing. There's with the Militia list, I think there's lots going on and lots numbers. There's a lot of different type of threat. You actually everything is important, and you cannot. It makes target priority difficult.
Yeah.
And also just when everything is dangerous, then what do you go for first, right? You got to deal with everything.
Yeah, we definitely struggled with target priority. You know, I initially started on the Lehman Russes and the Super Heavy, but you know the ability to repair those hull points with the engine sears on board. I thought we were going to do it in the second turn, but then those 2 hull points kept creeping back on. I was like, oh no! But a nice little tactic though.
Yeah, I wanted to try it. I never done it. It's strong. Let's put it this way. It's actually quite jammy, I got to confess.
That's for me, it's a bit of 40k creeping into 30k if I'm honest with you. But hey, I'm not being bitter about it. It was good. I think the Militia look absolutely fantastic. Those 4 Dwelled Uppers, they look really good, don't they? And you've tied them in beautifully with the Ogrins as well. It all kind of fits the aesthetic with all the tanks and stuff. So it's a phenomenal looking army, isn't it?
Thank you very much. Yeah, a lot of time and effort, so I appreciate it.
So a lot of time's gone into that. Let's just quickly do the victory conditions. I've got them all in front of me. Now, the mission objective was hold until relieved. Finally remembered it. And Tom, you got a unit into the Bastion. Turn 3, I think it was.
Yeah, turn 3. They got in there and been climbing up, doing a little bit like Monty Python, shouting at the people at the castle. But yeah, very happy to get there and being able to score it. And very fortunate that your infantry unit were like tied up in the back, so helped me to rack up those victory points.
Yeah, I think that was the key to victory here, because you were able to you had so many units available to you. You could sneak in through the bastion whilst pushing a large majority of your army forward to keep you occupied, and then you got into the bastion, which I thought was a great tactic. But on turn 3, Tom rolled 1 victory point. Turn 4, he rolled 3 victory points, and then of course he sniped the warlord out with some demolisher cannons.
And just like he received some pain. Let's put it that way.
Holy hell! So that poor Praetor didn't even get a chance to swing his sword.
But he was all alone, to be fair.
Yeah, it was a really silly thing. Again, I probably would have taken a Spartan in this list, but we're borrowing the army from Dan, and Dan hasn't got a Spartan. We needed a little bit of protection, get up the board to get into combat, but it's okay. I appreciate leaving on his own wasn't the best, but he couldn't fit in a Rhino with all those other Marines, unfortunately. But anyway, there was another one for Warlord, so that put the Militia on 5. But thankfully, the Imperial Fists managed to score some points, and they got the Lord of War for 1. So 4 to the Imperial Fist, 5 to the Militia. Tom, give me some thoughts. Give me some analysis.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you. This was a wonderful game. It's just like, I hope it will show up on screen, but it's gorgeous. The table, I don't know if people will be able to see, but it's actually topography. So meaning that not only you have the rocks that are line of blocking, but then with the sand, there's little hills. So that means like line of sight is actually something. And it's really difficult. And that's absolutely brilliant. So actually, I'm looking forward to look at how you made that board, because
my pleasure.
It was impressive. And I think one of the things that helped me is you had a lot. What helped me is you didn't take out in the first 2 turns the Lord of War. You would have taken it out. Yeah, pretty much. It's a walking coffin. So I got very fortunate on that one. The being able to just repair it, do the little plus at a time, just giving like slightly out of reach. Yeah, and it really allowed me to just draw all the firepower onto it, and I think that's what really made the difference, because it allowed a lot of the rest of the army to go unmolested. What do you think? Yeah, we really struggled to take out that super heavy. I really thought the Venator... the Venator shut the shooting down for the first turn, which was really great. But then the Venator redirected, which was, I think, the wrong decision. But then I was relying on the Cryos Venators to do the rest of the damage, and we got really close, but it just wasn't quite enough. And the las cannons on the Predators, they just let me down. They just couldn't quite get through the front armour. And yeah, we really struggled, because if we'd done it, it would have stopped a bit of firepower, but also the Ogryns getting into the rest of the vehicles, and then we might have been able to put a bit more of impact on those beasts, because those beasts, they started like here and they ended up right on the far side of the board. Yeah, I think that's they're strong. They're very, very strong. It's they're beasts. They have fleet. They ignore difficult terrain. Yep. So it's 12 inches every turn, no matter what you have in front, and they cover so much ground. And I think a lot of people get surprised by them. They're a very, very tough unit. It's the 3 wounds as well. I think it really helps. And it's you have the randomness as well of the attacks, where you can have either a lot of attack or very little, but in average, you'll do well. Even if you've got 10 a unit and you roll a 3, that's still 30 attacks at strength 5, I think it was. Yeah, and then you have the hammer of wrath and all those nasty things. But really good. All right, not much more to say from me. I think the game said all that needed to be talked about. It was an absolute convincing win, and I think it just proves, even against the might of the Emperor, numbers still count in absolute spades. So well played, Thomas. It was a good game. You have got a trip all the way back to London now, haven't you? Yes, I'm gonna go back, and just hopefully we'll get to be able to play again sometime soon. And it's absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. My really pleasure. Enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, me too. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Now, if you want to, all of the photos from this game will be available on the Facebook page, so please go there and have a look. If you want to keep up with Tom's progress, and he's got some fantastic hobby going on, where can we find you? I'm on Instagram at @d_unspeaking. Fantastic. And the channel is available, as always, on @the 30k channel. Thank you so much for watching. Tom, thank you for a great day. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.